Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1, and I have my next video out here finally. Had so many things going on, of course. I've got 4 kids, a wife, all this stuff. Life, it just happens. And then I'm really praying, and then the Lord's wasn't giving me any direction. And then I get, basically after my last video, the day after, I get contact, if you can believe it or not. It's real, okay, from Jeremy. And in my last video, I shared about a half an hour of Jeremy's testimony with Tony on A Minute to Midnight. Tony's from New Zealand. He has a show called A Minute to Midnight on YouTube even. And I shared about half of his testimony on that show on my last video. So he contacted me, and I was blown away. In fact, he told me he found out about me because of one of my subscribers, and she had let him know. I don't know if I even have. She let him know that I did a video about, or put him in my video, and he contacted me. So after that, I asked him some questions, some things I wanted to know, and then I finally wanted to talk to him, and I just knew by the Spirit that this guy was right on the level in many ways. Again, he was an ex 32nd degree Freemason, and he's turned to Christ basically 5 years ago, and he's got an amazing story. I've heard more things about him, even besides the show on Tony with Tony, and I was just like, when he contacted me, he really felt like the Lord wanted him to contact me, and he said some great things about what I'm doing as well. He said that I'm one of the few people out there that really understand what's going on, what they're doing with the Masonic stuff, and I was blown away. I was very thankful for the kind words he had for me, and I was very blessed and very thankful for him and his stand for the truth, being he grew up with a very prestigious family, basically kind of the East Coast / South. I can get into any more detail on that. I don't want to give away too much information, of course, for his own anonymity. But we've had just conversation after conversation, great stuff. You won't believe the stuff that if I can, I'll roll out some more stuff. But I'm going to share with you some very crazy stuff that he shared with me. And it was I basically confirmed a lot of things he knew but didn't know all the details, and I've given him a lot of details, even from being a Mason, things that he didn't know the details of that I got from the Lord, from my research. I mean, a combination of those kind of things. And also I've gotten things from him that I'm going to tell you this right now. So before I get into this whole presentation, I want to say this right now. So having to do with iPet Goat 2, okay, he said he wanted to tell me, one of the things he wanted to tell me is this: he saw it right away when we first started talking. He's like, you want to tell me, because he knew that iPet Goat came out years after he saw it. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, it came out years after I saw it. I'm like, what are you talking about? So he literally, there's a big Masonic meeting of his particular lodge or whatever, or maybe, I'm sorry, I mean, as far as his area, it may have been a huge state meeting, I don't know, but people came. He just gave me general information, but people came, said that this video that they're going to watch is the plan. And that was in 2008. If you can believe it. iPad Go was in pre-production in 2006. It's what it says on Heliofont's website and everything. And then they said it was released in 2012. So it actually was finished in 2008, late 2008, or in the fall, whatever. And he said he saw it. When he watched it, he remembered thinking for sure, and he's trying to look for some more details on it. And they do notes and minutes of these meetings, which is crazy. He's trying to look for that, see if he can find it, because it's been years ago, and he doesn't know if he still has it or not. But he was trying to look for it. And literally, when he was watching it, and other people were watching it, they were saying, well, is this guy going to be president? They were talking about Barack Obama. And they said, yes, he's going to be president. That's what he's in there. He's right after Bush. And I've had to go, he's going to be president. And some people were like, no way, or whatever. And I guess in those lodges, of course, it makes sense. There'd be people on both sides, in a sense, of course. It's crazy how this all works. But some people didn't quite believe that he was going to be, I guess. It's crazy. So I'm kind of blown away by that insight, and that this was put out to Masonic town, probably all over the country, maybe even all over the world. after they made it, which looks like a couple years after, or a year and a half at the most, a year and a few months maybe after it was um, basically in pre-production. So years before they released it. So they had to hit it on a certain day for the numerology and all this stuff for it to be released, and all this timing and everything they wanted, of course. So that's phenomenal information that almost anybody's not going to have about iPad Go, which is, I feel very privileged to know. And like I've said in the past, I thought what it would be like to be a fly on a wall in these meetings and know some of this stuff so I could warn people. And on the other hand, I'm like, if I knew some of this stuff, I probably would, start just want to vomit and stuff all the time or whatever. It's just such bad stuff. And he said, yeah, it's very bad stuff. And he said, I'm cracking it. Basically, I'm cracking what they're doing and things. So, and he had more information to give to me, and I'm going to share that with you towards the end of this video. Also, he couldn't be with me this time because, and I'm going to explain at the end of the video what's going on with that. He has to go out of town. He has to be in a certain place. I'm going to get into that here at the end of the video. But when he gets back, we're going to do an interview together, and I'm going to post that as soon as I can. And probably after this time frame starts and everything. But assuming it all works out and everything, he's going to be on with me. So I'm looking very much forward to that because he's a wonderful guy. Some of you people that might think it'd be naysayers or whatever go, I don't know, or maybe even just generally skeptical. I was a little bit, but I kind of knew already that he was on the up and up because things he said, the way he was on the interviews and stuff. And then I would just make sure with the Lord, and he was like, it's good. He came to me and stuff like that. And so I'm just telling you, I can tell the Lord's made it very clear to me that he's on the right side now, and he's gotten some intel from some people. Now, I'm not saying that all the intel he's gotten is a 100%, but you decide. Some of the things he's gotten have been from very close family members as well that care about him. Some are in, some are not, but most are in. And it was right in the transition when he was leaving and stuff. So he got some good information. So I'm going to share some of that stuff with you. Even more recently, having to do with this month and possible timing of my time frame of this stuff coming up this month. So I just want to make sure you understand that. So Event 201. What is that? Well, that I put that out actually. I literally was one of the first out there on YouTube channels in January. I put a video out that I had gotten from, I'm trying to think of what it's called. Maybe I'll think of it. A YouTuber that does, End Time Productions. That's what it was. End Time Productions. And I watched this about Event 201. And I already knew back, actually, but when I was watching all this footage from Wuhan and all these people in China dying, I knew that this was coming to the United States, of course. And I talked about this. And I talked about Event 201 back in January. That it was exercised on in October of 2019, and that this was coming, okay? And this was coming to the United States in a big way. And I've been warning about that, for a while, actually, and talking about how these people are dropping dead in China and all that kind of stuff. It's really crazy. But here, it's very faked. It's not real. It's not the real thing. There's stuff going on. So something happened. There's something out there, but it's not what they're saying it is. And we're having all these, they're doing all these tests that are going up, but there's no deaths hardly. And all this stuff. Anyway, so that was back in January. But the Event 201, it was actually predictively programming what's coming right now, what's coming very soon. It's really the real wave of the viral epidemic, and then it's also this attack that's coming. And let me explain. So Event 201 is directly to do with the 201st day of the year, is what I'm saying is the first day of 13-day birthing period, which starts on July 19th. And that's only in a leap year, is the 201st day, July 19th. Okay, which is crazy. So, in my timeline on iPad Goat, we basically have this year's January, February, March, April, May, June, July. And, of course, she's sitting in the eclipse, the annual eclipse. And then this is Obama. These are all presidents back here, as well as the Thai boys, the Thailand boys that were trapped in a cave, that were sitting there waiting to be rescued, and they looked like boys with their bigger heads than bodies and all that kind of stuff, but they're also presidents. And these presidents are here, the 12 presidents, because they do the ritual of the raising of Osiris, which is covered by, I'm trying to think of the actual guys. I can't think of it right now, but they're associated with Tom Horn and things. And there's a video called Belly of the Beast, which adds more to even more to the understanding about that it has to be a U.S. president. That's the Antichrist. It has to be one of a few people, but it's really Stinky B.O., the 44th President, Barack Hussein Obama, and then they go through the ritual that goes every time there's an inauguration. They have the Scottish Rite, a Freemasonry, basically the main hub in Washington, D.C. They go through this huge ritual, and that's why, D.C. is all set up like a big pentagram. I've shown that before in my videos as well. It's a pentagram, the White House on one end, and then you have the mall, and you have the Washington Monument, you have the the Lincoln Memorial, and all this stuff. You have all this stuff set up as like a big pentagram. And that's in the roads and everything. So no one can deny, if you really understand that our foundation of our country is Masonic. It's not Christian like we've been taught. It's just completely not true. They wanted the freedom to worship Satan and do their magic and do their things in this country. And that's why ultimately this has been a success for them all around the world. That's why Babylon, which is what we live in, the United States, is going to be taken down, and it's about to be taken down. And at first by them, but God's allowing them to do their dirty work because it's kind of like His judgment at the same time, because people are not listening to God, they're not following Him, and all that stuff. So this is the months I'm saying. So we're in July right now. Now see how this barbed wire, do you notice how right down here, January, and this is the yin and yang symbol right here, but the yin is sticking up right here. And then this is barbed wire. This is Wuhan was the lockdown right here was in January in Wuhan. And then right over here, it starts right in here in March. And that's when Trump, declared the national emergency and everything. And these things are around his arm right here. This is Trump. This is Obama. He's got the ultraviolet on him. He's the Mr. Ultraviolet president. That's a sign that he's going to be incarnated by Lucifer. And ultraviolet light is a symbolic of the highest vibration of light, which ultraviolet is. And so it's, because Lucifer was a light bearer, whatever. He was like the highest of all the angels. Anyway, this is Trump, and this is him doing his, when he sits down, he does the triangle. I've shared this in many videos, and his, how his hair goes over his head like that, big comb over, basically. Anyway, so this has to do with the lockdown situation, and then basically over here, it's going back up in July. Now you can see. Now, if this is the beginning, so this is all a timeline, but then this is a timeline for July. Now, look here, right in here, you have, this is called the buck rabbit. So right in here, toward the beginning of July, not quite even at the very start, but just a little bit into the head, is July 1st. And that was going into the 4th, was the buck moon, and this is the buck rabbit. And then right here, right now the lockdowns are just starting to go up. And right up here, I believe, is what we're looking at. This is probably what we're looking at right here. This is my best guess on here, and it looks like that's what this is showing. This is bringing in July and the buck moon and everything. So anyway, so I get into the dates here. So that's these are the months. Again, this is my best guess based on a lot of things I've compiled and been shown by the Lord. Things I've researched, things that from movies and TV and music videos and all kinds of stuff. It's just it's crazy, all the stuff that's out there. But that follows that idea where he's saying they were told in a meeting, the Masonic meeting, that this was the plan. And again, people that they showed these to, most of them at that meeting that he was talking about, most of them weren't 33rd degree Mason and above, because there's degrees above 33rd Mason, he told me, and for sure I thought there were, but the people that are 33rd degree that basically completely sell their souls to the devil and above, they knew more of the details of exactly what's going on, who he is, all that stuff. People below that, they didn't know all the details. And as you go up in the ranks, you start learning more and more of their secrets and things like that. And that's how it works. And you want to know more and more and more and be initiated into more and more rituals and more sacrifice, more junk. So basically, I'm saying here, this is the timeline I'm saying of what's going to happen. Again, this is all my guess. I'm roughly guessing on what might happen. The best I know. Okay, I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm guessing based on the information I brought in, and I'm trying to explain this to you so you understand. So to warn you and possible things that are coming. So, be prepared. Wherever you're at, you should by now be ready to have food, water, whatever you need. Most of all, be prepared with Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and know Him. If you don't know Him, reach out for Him right now. Ask for Him to save you. Romans 10, 9, and 10 does a great job of explaining what that is, and let Him guide you from there. And, He'll guide you to certain people maybe and things like that. So that's how that works. If you don't know him, you're going to need to know him. He's your only answer out of this whole thing. What's coming? Everybody's going to have to take a vaccine. Everybody's going to have to follow all the rules. And they're going to, before all that really happens, they're going to annihilate millions and millions and millions of people. This is all their plan. Okay, so I believe it's very possible. I believe it's going to start on the 19th, which is the first days, because 19 is really 1 plus 9 is 10. Take away the 0, and that's 1. So we see the 7-1 code, but it's hidden because they compress numbers. They compress numbers to get to the actual message. They compress them in different ways, as I've shared in many of my videos, but I'm going to share with you more here if you don't know much about it. So she drops the apple. She's pain to be delivered. She's a virgin. She represents the Revelation 12 sign in a sense too. But and that's kind of what it's depicting a little bit. She dropped the apple like she's pregnant, and then I believe it's a birth, and then there may be a flood. So I've seen examples of this 13-day process, and the first day I've seen some different dam breaks and floods happen on the first day. And the most recent one was May 19th, which is kind of funny because I've said many times, and I'm saying in all my videos, that 3 is 5 is 7. So 3-1, March 1st, is just the same as May 1st, just the same as July 1st. And I've explained that in my previous videos, so watch those if you haven't. I'm going to put some in the description box. I'm not going to get into all that right now, but because of the codes, for example, 311 is an attack code on both coasts. 311 is 511, is 711. And then ultimately, 711 is 729. And I'm going to get into that down here as well. But 729 through 730 are the 9th of Av, or is Tisha B'Av, okay? And that is a very ominous day in Jewish history, destruction of the first 2 temples. And I believe possibly the destruction of the 3rd real temple of God, which is in human beings. And the people that are not obeying God will be destroyed, that are in the path of these tsunamis. And ultimately, when the tsunamis hit land, they're going to cause massive earthquakes. And people are in these, buildings and all kinds of places where they're going to. That'll be the day of the dead sheep, as there's a guy out there that talks about dead sheep. And so that kind of stuff. So there's going to be a lot of things coming with this with these days. Okay, and like I said, I'm doing my best to speculate. So this is the first day. And again, so 311 is 511 is 711, and 711 is, I'm saying, 729, which is 2 plus 9 is 11. So you literally, on all these days, you have to, in a sense, combine numbers, or as they say, compressing. This is what the leads say. They say compressing numbers. There's a few lead I've gotten this from where I've heard them say this, and it's very rare. They compress numbers to get to the real messages they're hiding. And I've been sharing that for a while. So they're compressing numbers. Okay, so starting with 19 ends up being 1 when you take away the 0 from the 10. And then you have the second day. I'm just showing you. So the apple falls. You see the spot on the apple. This is also Jupiter, because it's Jupiter coming out of Virgo as far as a Revelation 12 sign. But it's kind of a red Jupiter. This spot is the sun. Every time this apple rolls, it's 1 day. It's 1 revolution of the sun in a sense. So this is the 4th and 5th day right here. This is the second day. So we have 7-2. 4th and 5th day is really 7-2-2 and 7-2-3. And I explained why that is in previous videos. Why, in a sense, it's like it's 4th of July, but 4 is split up into 2 and 2, so it's more hidden. So 4th of July is just a symbol and a code for what's hidden as far as these days, or 4th and 5th of July, I should say. So 22 and 23. And that looks like it might be on the floor. It looks like a comet or a meteor coming in, possibly killing a lot of people, and some kind of mass attack, or maybe that is what it is. It's an asteroid or something like that. It's going to be a massive attack because of that coming in. I don't know. And I've talked about, there's a one that's possibly coming in that's a comet, and Neowise and things like that. Well, we'll see. So then we have the 25th, which is a few days later, and that is technically the 7th day, or the 5th month to the elites is the 7th month to us, on the Gregorian calendar, but to the elites, the 5th month is July, and we know it as the 7th month. Okay, so that's how they can hide that, and then they hide the days by compressing the days to make it 2 plus 5 is 7. So to them, it's 5-7 is 725. If that makes sense. And also, Sticky BO, or Barack Hussein Obama, the 44th Pres, is Mr. 57. I've explained many ways in my previous videos how he's Mr. 57. So on this day, I'm looking at Hawaii to have lava come out of it. Again, these will be massive confirmations of what I've known and what I've shown is coming. Now, a lot of these things are coming. I can't guarantee any of these. I can guarantee maybe a couple. I mean, I can guarantee a couple things that are going to happen. I don't know what days exactly, of course, and there's some I don't know for sure. So I know tsunamis are coming. That is no doubt in my mind. I know eventually the United States could be finished off with nuclear, things like that. As far as the comet, as far as different attacks, I can't say I'm 100% at all, but or if you may see part of it and then you see some later, but this is the best I can do with what I know, and that's what I'm explaining. So, and then Obama is attacked on this day because this is the day of the head wound, the boy in iPad Goat who has a head wound, and then he comes back to life and he's in the whirling dervish on the full moon or whatever, and that's basically this month. This month of the buck moon. It has to do with this full moon month, basically, in a sense. So, and then the next day is 5/8 or 7. 2 plus 6 is 8. Because again, to Leets is the 5th month. To the masses or the Gregorian, it's 7th month. And by the way, the 5th month to them, it's a Roman calendar. It's based on the spring starting on March, and March being the first month. Okay, so Trumple is attacked and eliminated. Trumple falls. And then somewhere between this day and this day, or even on this day, or maybe starting on this day, carriers are attacked. And I've said that the carriers, the Abraham Lincoln, and I'm saying the Abraham Lincoln and the Truman. Some people are saying Abraham Lincoln and the from prophecy. Some people do prophecy and stuff. I'm not talking about prophecy. I'm talking. I mean, I had a vision of being on an aircraft carrier, and I think it might have been the Abraham Lincoln, where it was basically sinking, people were dying, and it was horrible. I'm not getting into all that right now, but and I think it might have been the Abraham Lincoln. I can't completely confirm that, but that's what my gut tells me, and that's what I feel like. That's what I saw. But as far as the second one, I don't know, and I'm confident there's a second one. I've shown in iPad Goat 2 monoliths basically looked like aircraft carriers sinking in iPad Goat. Okay, and I'm not getting into that right now. That's a previous video. So, and then we have, so 727 is end up being the 9th day. It's 9th day because the stem, there's a shadow on the stem, and it's right here. And then this shadow from this leaf makes the one cross of the X, and this is X right here. So this is I from X, which is 9, Roman numeral 9, I from X. And then the apple moves this way a little bit more to the right, and then you don't see it that quite that way. You see a more enhanced shadow of this, or more slender shadow of the leaf, and then that makes an X. There's the I is gone. That makes the 10th day, and the 2 plus 8 is 10. And then this splits right here, the apple splits. This is the big island of Hawaii. This is the south part of the island. The split is going right through the south part. It's coming off. In fact, again, Hawaii had lava 2 years ago, and then it's going to be basically just exploding as well at that time. It's going to be fomented by a Russian nuclear submarine with the predictive programming shows, and it's going to hit Helena Slump, which is the section right under East Rift Zone in the southern part of the big island of Hawaii. And it's from where the shore goes down to the bottom of the sea. It's this big area that's it's thousands of miles deep, going down to the bottom of the ocean, and they're going to hit that and cause this big section, this chunk, which is basically the whole East Rift Zone, which is about 11 miles by 22 miles of land, because it's already cracking. It's been cracking and moving and shifting. In fact, this last earthquake that hit the 4.6 that happened on July 2nd, which is really July 2 is 1 plus 1, so it's a hint on July 11th of the attack. And 4.6 is 46, which is birth, 23 chromosomes from the father, 23 chromosomes from the mother, and also 46 is also gematria for birth and born, as I've shown. So this whole section that's cracked, it's cracked in new spots, but there's this main crack that goes to the whole length of it. It's moving more and more. In fact, it moved about 2 feet and some inches after that last earthquake that happened on July 2nd. And it's ready. And they've scored it already with all these fissures that go from Kilauea all the way down to the coast. And now this cracks, and multiple cracks are happening even more. So it's ready to fall off, but they just need a big push. They're going to hit these with this nuclear sub with these Poseidon nuclear torpedoes, or maybe just one. But then they're going to also have a nuclear torpedo carrying submarine on the east coast at the same time, and probably either hit Cumbre Vieja, which is an island volcano that's on the north coast of Africa, and they might hit that, and a big landslide could happen there, and then it goes across the Atlantic, and that they can look natural, but they're also going to make it look like, asteroids came in and hit the Pacific and the Atlantic, I believe, according to what the predictive programming shows. But they're going to really make it happen with these nukes underwater. Okay, these Poseidon, basically tsunami makers. Okay, so that's what's going to happen there. This apple splits right here on the 11th day. You know it's the 11th day because right on the leaf it says 1-1. There's an 11 right there as well. And we follow the whole process from day 1 to day 11. And then this is both coasts. And then there's 2 more days represented by these 2 seeds. And then on the last day, the 13th day, which is the birth flower for July, which is the water lily. Now it's not a lotus. Some people think it's a lotus. No, it's not. It's a water lily, because when the Antichrist comes out of the cave on the boat and then opens his eyes eventually, but as he comes out of the cave, there's all these water lilies that spring up, and they're floating right on top of the water. It's not a lotus, it's a water lily. And the birth flower for July is a water lily. And the birth flower for June is a rose, and that's what's behind Lily's ear. It's a rose. So that's June, and she's sitting in the annual eclipse for June. Okay, so again, I'm saying 9th of Av. Let me go back here. 9th of Av, okay, is 29th through 30th. 9th of Av, okay, that's a big deal. And that exactly hits these 2 tsunami days. And it's 2 days because it has to do with what time zone you're on, whether you're on the East Coast or even if you're in West Coast or in Hawaii, all the way to Hawaiian time, Hawaiian Standard Time, all the way to the East Coast. When this attack happens, you might be on one day, or depending on time zone, you might be on a different day. So it's one of 2 days, the 29th or 30th, and it ends up being the exact days of the 9th of Av, because that's how they start. They start at sunset to sunset in Israel, and that's covering 2 days of our days over here, which is really crazy. So, and then of course those tsunamis going to cause, with this massive displacement of land, for example, with Hawaii, it's going to cause a massive 12 to 1,500 foot tsunami wave that's going to destroy Hawaii. That's why when the flag is ripped apart in iPad Goat, a piece flies away in iPad Goat, there's one star on it, and that star is a destruction of one state, and the 50th state is that 50th star, and that is Hawaii. Okay, and it flies around and it eventually disappears. Anyway, and so Hawaii is the 50th state. So there's so much here to cover. Now in Revelation 13:17, I want to cover something about these masks. Revelation 13:17, the Bible, it says, for example, blah blah blah, no one can buy or sell unless he has the, and what is he has? Can you complete the sentence or complete the statement? He has the mark, right? No one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. Now that's coming, as we know, but what's going on right now? Now look at Mark real quick. Look at Mark, and it's easily can be replaced with mask. Is that a coincidence? No, it's not. I'm telling you, the Lord said to me, it's not a coincidence. This is all planned. It's been planned for a long, long time. Mask is what? Is the preliminary mark. And I'm going to show you what. So ultimately, it's going to be the number of his name. We know what that is. It's 666. But let's just say we're dealing with the mask being a number. So in simple gematria, mask is 44. I'm sorry, it's really just a simple A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3. That's the most credible of all ciphers there is, and it's 44. Who is Mr. 44? Okay, he has certain numbers associated with him because of what the public knows about him, and that's what identifies him as being who I'm saying this is. So the Antichrist is Mr. 44, the 44th Prez, Stinky B.O. Okay? It's a bunch of BS. Barry Soetoro also. So 44. That's not a massive coincidence. I don't think so. That everybody that's wearing a mask is not only muzzling themselves, they're paying homage to 44 by wearing a mask, and they don't even know it. They don't even know it. In fact, when you say, that technology with cell phones, with data, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay, that is G. The letter G is 7, so that's 57. He's Mr. 57, as I said earlier. Remember the days, the 57. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, F, G is 5, 7, and 5, 7 in simple gematria is birth. crazy. So when people are speaking about the technology, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, F, G, they're saying birth, 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 birth. And every time someone talks about having a mass, they're saying 44, 44, 44. And that's who that is. Okay, that's how you can identify these things. He has no numbers that are associated to him. He has a lot of numbers a lot of people don't know, and I'm going to talk about some of those. Okay, and then if you put in from English to Jewish translation, or Hebrew translation, Barak is these three characters right here, and I'm going to show you what they are. Now, if you go to ancient gematria, which is, in this situation, we have Greek, and then we have Hebrew. So right here, the first one we have, and I've done this in a previous video. I'm going to put that link in the description box so you can see more of the details on this and more things I've gone into. I'm getting some of this right now just to show you, to make some points here. But if you do it right, and I've found how to do this right, it's all about, the main thing about doing it right is the middle name. His middle name Hussein, which, by the way, the Al-Mahdi, which is the 12th Imam, he's the savior that the Muslims are looking for. In a sense, he's going to have to be, they're going to have to accept him. Listen, whoever the Antichrist is, the Muslims are going to have to accept him as their Al-Mahdi. And so it makes sense that he has to fit that description, as well as being the Antichrist for the Christians, in a sense, and everybody else. So people that don't understand that, it blows my mind. The fact that, you can't have Donald Trump being the Mahdi. I mean, that's just silly. It's just silly. It's one of the silliest things I've ever heard. Or many other candidates. They can't be the Mahdi. Okay, they can't. They cannot be. You have to realize, also, the Bible says he's the first beast. He's the Antichrist is a Syrian. And Obama is a clone. He's part of Syrian. He's actually a clone of Akhenaten, and Akhenaten was from Assyria. Okay, there's all kinds of things that no other person, I have right now, almost 480. I have 479 reasons, solid evidences that Stinky Bill is the Antichrist, and no one comes close. No one makes 200. There's one person that's in the hundreds, and that's William, Prince William, and he may even be the second beast. And I'm not getting all that. Certainly not going to. That's a lot to get into. Too much to get into. But I know the main Antichrist that the Bible talks about being the Assyrian, being a number of things that the Bible describes. It's Stinky B.O. So the first character right here is, what is it? Look over here. So we're looking over here, and it's Kof. Kof, and it's got, the value of it is 100. See the P-looking thing? It's almost like a P. It's Kof, and it's 100. And then you got this one right here, and this is Resh, and that's 200. The value is 200. And then over here, this one right here is what? Beat. Okay, Beat. So we have 100, 200, and 2. So that's 302 is his name in Hebrew. Okay, so I'm just going to cut to the chase here. I get into a little more detail in the other video I was talking about. It's called The Birth of the Antichrist Revealed, and it's about Stinky B.O. It's several videos back on my channel. You can check it out. I'll put a link in the description box, I think. You can check that out. So, but just keep going here. But you see how I did this. So Barak is 302, and it's very key in how you pronounce Hussein, because Hussein is Arabic, really. Okay, and how it's pronounced and how it translates to Hebrew is very important. So if you do it correctly, it's 251, and then Ubama is like in Aramaic Hebrew. The Bible says that Jesus said in Luke 10:19, I see Satan as lightning falling from heaven. And lightning falling from heaven is Barak Ubama. So Ubama, in that transition from heaven, is basically 113, and then Hussein is 251, okay? And do you see anything in here that kind of sticks out as far as the numbers? I'm going to show you some things. Does this stick out a little bit? Do you see that? Something to do with something I've been talking about? 113 equals 115 equals 117, or backwards, 311 equals 511 equals 711, but that's right there. And there's far more going on here. But 302 plus 251 plus 113 equals, wow, no way. Okay, so I'm identifying him as it by many ways. And by the way, he's 666 so many ways. And I'm going to show you some of those. And each one of those ways is one of the 479 I have. I think it's 479. Yeah, it's 479. I'm almost to 80. Maybe I'll come up with 80 in this video. 480 the actual number 80. I actually I've kept all these in my mind and have added each one as they come along, believe it or not. Here we go. So, and also another way he's 666, the most simply that you can do in any kind of idea of numbers, Barack Hussein, I want to say insane, Barack Hussein Obama is 18 characters, 18 letters. And then divide it or average it by his 3 different names, and you have 666. Simple. That's one simple way. Another simple way. Also, 18 is 6 plus 6 plus 6. Because he's also 18. I'm going to get into more things. Okay, so let me get into what this is. Now, this is crazy. So, 302, in a sense, is March 2nd. March 2nd is the 62nd day of the year, only on a leap year. And I think that's what this is pointing to, because right here, this is pointing to, obviously, the 11th day of the 3rd month, which is 11/3, especially to the elites. The 3rd month, it doesn't really matter how you look at it. The 3rd month could be March or it could be May. So to the elites, the 3rd month is May. To us, the 3rd month is March, however you want to say it. But that's why 3 = 5 = 7, because it's how you look at it. And what the elites calendar versus the Gregorian calendar. So 11/3 is really backwards, March 11th. And March 11th is the 71st day of the year. Okay, so we have the 62nd day of the year, and that's only on a leap year, is March 2nd. And the 71st day of the year, only on a leap year. Only on a leap year. So this picks out, this is the year. Not only that he's 58 and he's Mr. 58, because this is his 58th year, 58th year of his life, supposedly, right? But also 311 is March 11th, backwards, or the 11th of March. And then right here we have 251. Well, how you can compress numbers, you can compress in a few different ways. I'm going to show you, for example, if you add these numbers. So you do 2 plus 5 and then leave the 1, it's 71. Well, 71 looks familiar because the 71st day of the year is 311. So let's go back to this. Okay, another way of doing it, we're just going to add. Okay, of course we can add 2 plus 5 plus 1, of course, and that's 8. That doesn't give you the codes. The codes are secret. They really mean other things. So 8 is a new beginning. It's a number of things. He's ultimately 8 as well, in certain ways. But ultimately, we have this code of being the 71st day of the year. It's also 17 backwards. So 71 is 17. And he is 17. B-O, his initials, is not a coincidence. B-O, B is 2 in simple gematria. O is 15. 2 plus 15 is 17. So he's B-O. So he is the 17th letter of the alphabet. He is Q. That's why he's Q, and I've shared that many times. I'm going to get into more about that, and more proof that he's actually Q. And the Q that's supposedly helping the conservatives. Yeah, right. And Christians, right. But also, if you take the 2 and then you do 5 plus 1, instead of adding these two, you add these two. So 2, 5 plus 1 is 26. But backwards, that's 62, the 62nd day of the year, which is right back here. See how this kind of goes together, how these kind of confirm each other right here? Also, 3, 2, they don't include zeros, they don't count zeros. 3, 2 is 3, 1 and 1 is 2. So you see how this kind of balances out right here? See how this is this and this is that? I mean, it's crazy. There's so much in this, and this shows me that it's right. This actually even proves this. It's almost like when you're doing mathematics and you have A plus B equals C. Well, why you got to prove why that is, and then you have theorems and different things to kind of prove your the hypothesis and things. So you need other evidences, and that's what I've been doing with all this. I have all kinds of proofs of a lot of things I say. I don't just say, "Hey, that looks like that ink blot looks like a rabbit," and so that's what it is. No, I mean I prove 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 different ways why that rabbit is a buck rabbit, and how it's connected to July, and how July is right after June, and birth flower of July is the water lily, and I mean all these things, they connect together, they prove each other out. I have many proofs of the same thing. Okay, here we go. Keep going here. And then of course 18, like I said, that's his number, one of his numbers. That's how many letters are in his name. But also it's even deeper than that. 18 is reverse. Again, because he's the Antichrist, and because that's the way the enemy works, things are always reversed or upside down, or both. Upside down and backwards, or upside down or backwards. Okay? That makes sense. So 18 backwards is 81. And what's the 81st day of the year? Because we were talking about all these days of the year, because they're right here. I mean, they're literally right over, all over here. What's the 81st day of the year? It's March 22nd, 322. So he's Mr. 322 as well. And that's going to be very important. So these are some of his numbers. These are some of the things that identify who he is, because that's just the way they have it set up. And then they link to the numbers that everybody knows, like he's number 44, as in the 44th president. He's number 84, as in he was supposedly born on August 4th. He's also 19 and 61. And by the way, 19 is upside down and backwards to 61. So his year of birth is 1961. The 19 exactly upside down and backwards of 61. And 61 is exactly upside down and backwards of 19. And that's completely on purpose. Okay, and it's showing you a number of things. It's showing you his birthday. I've shown many things about his birthday, how it's showing all these days and his ultimate birthday. Literally, August 4th, 1961 is 311. It is many things. Oh my gosh, I've shown them in other videos. Okay, so this is very technical. This is very crazy. Okay, so now let me show you another aspect of compressing numbers. Now sometimes you can divide, and sometimes you can even, the better numbers, the best numbers, which are 3-digit numbers, sometimes 4-digit, but usually the 3-digit numbers, you can, and the very best ones, the ones that are the biggest value, the most craziest ones, you can add them together, you can multiply them, and you can divide them. And I'm not going to get into all that right now, but I'm going to get into multiplying. So check this out. So if you take 25 times 1, you get 25. Well, what's 25? And I've explained this so many times, like in December 25th and even January 25th, which is the new year of the Chinese, the first day of the Chinese New Year, January 25th, as far as how we equate on the Gregorian. But 25 is really hiding 5-2 backwards, and 5-2 is 511, because 2. So if you're trying to hide 511, which is an attack code, just like 311, because like I said, 311 is 511 is 711. So 511, you're trying to hide that, you're going to compress these two, make it 5-2. So you're going to put 5-2 different places. But even more, to hide that, you're going to make 5-2 backwards, and you're going to make it 2-5. That's why 25 is a very popular number for a lot of things. And that's why December 25th is the birthday of so many different gods of so many different religions, like I've shared. Because ultimately, it's his birth, which is forward 511, not hidden. And so to the least, it's 511. Because it's their 5th month. To us, the 5th month, or to us, their 5th month is July, and so July 11th. And then even more hidden, 2 plus 9 is 11, so it's July 29th. So ultimately, that's when the water breaks. That's when tsunamis happen. Okay, so hopefully so let me keep going here. Then the other way you can do it, so 25 times 1. Now let's do it this way. We're going to go, or 1 times 25, 2 times 51. So 2 times 51, or 51 times 2. What's 51 times 2? Well, it's 102. Or backwards, because a lot of these things are backwards, like I said, is event 201. Wow, that kind of blew me away when I first saw that. So I'm expanding on some of the things I've shared in that previous video, but there's more things on there that are kind of mind-blowing. And I talk about the lottery numbers in Chicago when he was about to become president and all this stuff, when he was senator and everything. There's phenomenal stuff in that video. So anyway, so we have Mask at 44, and that's Stinky BO. And then, so that has to do with the mark. By the way, my main point about that is now I live in Colorado. I'm thankful that I'm in a certain section of Colorado that's far more conservative, and tried to actually secede from Colorado. Was thinking about it and stuff, and I guess it never really happened. I never would have been part of that because I knew what all was coming. But there's a lot of conservatism here and things, and people that are fighting even a super liberal, leftist, psycho governor we have, Polis. I mean, he is out there, and he's going right along with the New World Order. I mean, he's just boom, boom, boom. In fact, yesterday, he made it mandatory for everybody in the state, executive order, to wear a mask. Well, I'm never going to wear a mask, so you can kiss something that is on my backside here. Anyway, I'm not going to ever, because if you can't make a stand with a mask, when are you going to make a stand? Because a mask is nothing. I mean, to make a stand for. Then you next thing is a vaccine, and that's coming. And I'm going to show you this in a second here, what's coming here. But Mark of Beast is 666, but mask is the first stage. So it is, in a sense, his number. And I'm showing you his number. So mask is you're being muzzled, Are you going to conform or not? I am not going to conform. Never. On my dead body, basically. Just telling all you, I never will conform. And it's nice, though, that I don't even have to test it yet, because I know that we have a sheriff that I've been following at times. I know who he is. And he said, basically, in interviews, he will not enforce this law. And there's other conservative counties where in the area I'm at as well, and they say the same. And they've been fighting him for years. I mean, and they passed a law illegally as well in the House that all kids will get all these vaccinations and everything. I mean, like a schedule of over 30 of them, 30 shots. Never will my kids ever on my dead body, is what I say. Okay, never will I allow them to be tainted, hurt, maimed. And listen, I know families. I know one I took care of, and because of an injection, their son is now autistic, and severely. He's actually multiple personality and autistic. Whatever that is, multiple personality. Anyway. And it's just, no, never, ever will I, never, ever. Okay, so anyway, here we go. So mark of beast is 666, because that's the mark that's coming that I'm talking about. So first is the mask, and that's 44, and that has to do with him. And then this, I'm showing you ahead of time how I'm showing you, because I just showed you he is 666 in many ways, and there's even more, if you can believe it. Vaccination is 666. And then again, this is English gematria, where simple gematria times 6 is English gematria. So English ordinal is simple gematria, then English Sumerian is English gematria, basically. It's what people call it. But vaccination is 666. And what a shock that they somehow managed it to completely sync with the number of the beast. Give me a break. The mark of the beast. I mean, are you kidding me? And then check it out. iPad Go 2 is 666. As you're not surprised about that, I'm sure. Okay, and then check this out. This is crazy. Walter Reed is 666. Now, some of you don't know why that is. I'm going to show you. What's up with Walter Reed? Well, there's our so-called president. Again, I am not on either side, because both conservatives and Republicans and Democrats, this whole thing is a sham. It's the chessboard that the elites are playing to fool the masses so they can put them all under control. Ultimately, these guys are all in the same club. Okay, they are. And if you don't know that, you need to get up to speed. Do some research. Read what the elites say, the trillionaires. Here, I got a little saying that I came up with. Millionaires, okay, control money. Billionaires control people. Trillionaires control countries. Okay, that gives you an idea. The trillionaires, if you don't know much about this, and you have not heard of the trillionaires out there, like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Warburgs, these big families that are basically running everything and running everybody, running all the politicians for sure. They're not running me, but they're trying to run me through taxes, through this, through that, through compliance, and now through a mask that finally this joker, this guy, Trumple Thinskin. I mean, are you kidding me? Now he put on a mask for the first time. You know why? Because he was at Walter Reed Hospital, and Walter Reed is 666, because he was paying homage to his master. And his master is Stinky B.O., and that's why he's wearing a mask. It's homage. It's conform. It's why all these senators and congressmen are all these people in the media and everything are promoting it, because it's a symbol really of death and rebirth. A mask is. It's why you wear a mask, like when someone dies, or in a sense like a veil, or there's different things in different cultures and religions. But a mask is death and rebirth symbol, and because he's about to die and about to be reborn, and they're doing it for the mask. And he did this on 7/11, 7/11 of all days. Remember when he did the executive order of national emergency on 3/11? Because 3/11 is 7/11. This is another major thing he did that said he would not do, or said, I would do it if it's the right thing, or I'm reasonable about it, but he never wore a mask ever. And people were saying all kinds of stuff about him. They wouldn't wear a mask and all this stuff. And now he is, because he's conforming on this day, which is the birth of the Antichrist day in symbology right here. And this is his number. I'm telling you, believe it or not, do you want to be like these people? Do you want to be a slave? Because that's what they were wearing masks. wearing something, a muzzle around their face, and you can't breathe in these things. You're breathing your own oxygen, or you're breathing back your own CO2. You're not getting enough oxygen, according to government's own OSHA standards, which is whoops, yeah, I got a little alarm there. According to government's own OSHA standards, you have to have 19.5% oxygen, and most masks don't even make 17 and a half. Okay, and so a lot of people are getting headaches from them and all kinds of stuff, and they're very unsanitary. In fact, I've got a video where Fauci is saying that people are wearing masks, they don't do any good. I mean, literally admitting it. That was early in this whole thing, and so they've contradicted themselves back and forth, left and right, and I know what the truth is, and I'm never going to submit to these people who are trying to control everybody, make them submit to you, because they're evil. And then here, remember these, I did videos on this too. Remember these Congress people, remember these senators bowing down? Basically, that's what they were doing. And I was showing people, over here behind them, another angle was the king, the Hawaiian king with his hand out, because that has to do, that's the symbolic of Obama being from Hawaii. They're all kneeling down. They're all taking a knee. In fact, the scarf they're wearing, fact check, yes, kente cloths were historically worn by empire involved in West African slave trade. So they're showing that. They have a mask. This guy is wearing a mask. She's got hers off right now. They're wearing masks. They're submitted. They got the 44 mask, the 44. Hers is kind of off right now. And then she's taking a knee. Now look, mask. Mask is right there. They're taking a knee. See, this is Masonic right here. It has to do with submission. It has to do with honoring, and it has to do also. It was something like the beginning of the goat or something. It's some kind of ritual about the beginning of the goat. I'm not getting into all that right now. And then check this out. Take a knee. Take a knee is 116. And by the way, this is the 116th Congress, and it just so happens that they're take a knee. How about this? Oh, I got this kind of out of order. Then taking a knee is 44. So these people are taking a knee. They have a mask, and so they're submitting to 44, Mr. 44, Stinky B.O., and they're taking a knee and submitting to Mr. 44. And those are in gematria. Are you kidding me? That's a coincidence. That's a massive, all this has massive coincidence? No, it's not. Not even close. Okay, I'm going to show you this in iPad Goat. This is a cipher that I found in iPad Goat months ago. I want to show you some stuff on this, about this time frame and how it proves that. Also some other things about more identifying Stinky B.O. as the Antichrist completely. So, okay, so this is a cipher. Now, you notice this is the alphabet like when you were in grade school or whatever, right? And then notice that the uppercase is after the lowercase. Normally it's uppercase then lowercase of each letter. And that's for a reason. I'm going to get into that. And notice the A, B, and C, and D are cut off here. So it starts with E. Now that's important because E then represents 1 because A, B, and C, and D are gone. So E is the first, it represents 1 as far as a cipher. So E equals 1, F equals 2, G equals 3, H equals 4, like that. All the way down to Z, and Z equals 22. Okay, just like the Hebrew language. In Hebrew, there's 22 characters, and there's just like that. So in a sense, because these guys are Kabbalists, they believe, they're Hebrew Kabbalists basically. So they're gonna make one that's 22 letters, of course. Okay, and then look at this. Notice that these are all in line here, but this O is askew, almost like someone hit the wall. And maybe even something happened outside the wall and disturbed the classroom, and then this thing like skewed here, the O. I'm just saying for a silly example. And then down here is the Z, and it's askew. These are all straight except for the O and the Z, and that's because it's code, of course. So from this is the first one. This O is the 11th one, and guess what? The Z is the 22nd one, right exactly in the middle. Notice something? 11:22, 11:22, 11:22. Ooh, 6 p.m. Anyway, that was a Walmart commercial back with Black Friday, and they were pointing at 11:22, and I think this is what this is, and that's also the day Kennedy was shot on November 22nd, and that's all planned as well. I'm going to show you what I think this is ultimately, but also E is the 5th letter of the alphabet normally, right? So it's representing 1 and 5, and I'm going to get into what that is in a second. But so do you see something here? Do you see 511 and 522? Okay, because it starts with E. So those are codes I've been talking about. So again, 322 is 522 is 722, and 311 is 511 is 711. Okay, but even more than that. Let's keep going here. So let's look at Z. There's two Z's, because again, these guys are ultimately Kabbalists. They are ultimately into gematria. So we have two Z's here. So a Z normally, now I'm going to show you, this is what it actually equals right here. 1Z equals 22, and I know that's what they're pointing to, because one reason why is because there's one, the lowercase is going this way, and the uppercase is going this way, bottom to top, and I'm going to show you why that is soon here. Okay, but so we have two Z's. Z's are normally the 26th letter of the alphabet, so 2 plus 6 is 8. You have two Z's, it's 8, 8. Then 8 plus 8 is 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. So we have in what the Z normally is, what these two Z's show, and what the Z itself is shown as one letter, it is in this cipher, it's 722. And that is this fourth day of my timeline, 722. Okay, now let's keep going. Now let's look at this 11 here. The O's are 15. Normally O is number 15 of the alphabet, but in this situation the O has the 11th place. But 15 and 15, 1 plus 5 is 6, 1 plus 5 is 6, so you have 6 6, because we're talking about two O's that are right there, because they're gonna deal with the nut letters that they have. 6 plus 6 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. We have 311. Remember I showed that in the birth of Stinky B.O., 311, and in his name and Hebrew and everything like that was 11:3 and all that. And I've talked about that many times. 311. Okay, this is really crazy. Okay, now that's the birth of Obama. So basically, what I'm showing here is also this is also going from bottom to top, because the uppercase is second. So right down here, if you're going backwards, if you start down here and you go backwards and upside down, you go in the right direction. Z is first. Z is big and the little z is small, so you go in this direction, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. And that's, I've proven it out many ways on this thing, but I'm just showing you some right now. So if you go that direction, now let me show you this. So I'll get right back to that in a second, but check this out. So I've shown how the Obama character, and then this is a female here. Some people think she looks like Oprah. I don't think she does at all, but I think she's the female version of Obama, because it says I am Q, and she's right there. And another reason, remember I showed you he was 322 under that 666 I showed you? Well, he is the serpent. This is a serpent right here. That's a serpent with a little bit of an eye right there. Okay, this is a serpent, and this is a 3 backwards, and then you got 322 in her hair. She has green eyes. Watch my previous video to see what green eyes equals, but she has pink lipstick and purple, pink and purple, and Obama is pink and purple. And I'm going to show you several ways how this is Obama. Also, I've shown how Obama is Q. I am Q, because Obama is 17, which is Q, the 17th letter of the alphabet. I'm going to show you more and prove it to you more with this cipher that I showed you and some other things in just this graphic right here, this scene, okay? Now, if you turn these hearts upside down, if you turn them sideways, they're 3, so 3, 3, 3. And because 2 sets of 3, 3, 3 equals 6, 6, 6, and that's a lot to get into right now, but I'm just going to show you simply right here. These are W's. Hearts are, I've shared how hearts are a symbol for the female anatomy, up, right side up, and the symbol for a set of testicles right upside down. And so it has to do with birth, or it has to do with birth, basically, because of the, you got the testosterone, you got the testicles, the, whatever, sperm, and then you have the egg from the female and all that stuff, and that's how, because that's where the heart is. It's not really love. It's sick. It's just lust, basically. It's what it is. Okay, so this is a W with the ends attached. So it's W, 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 like World Wide Web. Also, that's not a coincidence either. That's why that is, because World Wide Web, WWW. Obama signing the pillar in the One World Freedom Tower, where he said, "We remember." We build, we come back stronger. He did it that way for his WWW, because it's WWW, because he's 666, because this guy right here, the Tav, is represents a W in English, and its value is 6. Remember I showed you those other values? We had the 2, and then we have 100 and 200, so it was ended up being 302. Well, this is VAV. I'm sorry, VAV. It's the VAV, which represents a W, and that's 6. So a VAV or a W is 666 666. That's what he did there. He did WWW. He did 666, showing himself to who he is, showing the world to who he is secretly, as he can't do in real life. And then right there, I'm pointing to what she's sitting on. She's sitting on the other pink chair in the room. The other one that's sitting on the pink chair is a guy who's pink, who, because he's effeminate, and probably even a woman that was transgendered into a man, because Baphomet is a woman and a man, and he has a frame. And so I did a video about him being his coming out because he's gay and everything, and it shows a lot of evidence of Michelle being a man and him being effeminate and things like that. And he's sitting in a pink chair, and so is she, being a female representation of him. Okay, and I'm going to show you more evidence of this. I'm just not just saying this. So according to our little thing here, I went ahead of myself. Let me just do this real quick. So see, these are capital letters. See, this is the thing that you can see. So there's something in this, this, and this. Okay, so starting with Z going up, as I'm saying, because you can start down here. Z, because this ends up being the first letter for the capitals. This ends up being the first letter for the lowercase. And that's how you can decipher what's on the chalkboard. This is crazy. I figured this out. The Lord's guided me to this. I'm really kind of blown away in a way. So Z, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So L is the 15th letter. There we go. T is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th letter. T is 7. N is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13th number. Okay, so just right there, I'm going to do more with this, but just right there are most of the attack days that I said in my timeline. Check this out. Because the elites, of course, they look at July as their 5th month. You have 5-1. That ends up being 7-19. I'm saying if I'm all right about all this stuff. Now, there's a lot of codes that are going to match something at some point, but it's most likely the end of July, I'm saying. Beyond this, I'm not sure, but these codes are all correct. They just... what do they actually attach to? That's the question. And I'm saying by all that I see, it's most likely it's the end of July, but we'll see. But 5-1 is the first day, and then another huge day is 5-7. Remember I said he's 57. Plus 1 day is 58. Plus 3 days is 5-11. These are major attack days. I've seen this in many things, in even colors and different things like mauve. The Obamas had this book, and it was about this kid, and he had a mauve hair, and he had mauve clothes, and it was the color mauve. Exactly. I even looked it up and looked backwards. Mauve is 5/22, la 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 la. All these attack days. It's really crazy. I could not believe it. And I haven't put that on a video, I don't think yet. There's so much I can talk about. There's so much, and I just don't have the time for everything. I have twins. I have so many things. Oh my goodness. I have to wait on the Lord. I have to pray and ask. He says, show him this, show him this. Don't worry about this and all this stuff. I have so many things. I could do 10 more videos. I really could. I have so much stuff. And some of it might be kind of boring because there's a lot of gematria that pretty much proves everything. But I try not to do too much of that because a lot of people don't understand the numbers completely, or they don't realize how these things actually work each other out and figure each other out. When I use all these different ciphers, it's really crazy. So it actually works. Okay, but let me show you one way that they compress numbers. So again, this is an example of some of these days. Another way is saying 5-1, 5-7, and then also 5-13. That's the last day. That's a way. So this could be the first day, 5-1, and 5-13, the last day. This is showing you right here. And in between, very important day is his day when he's attacked, and then he'll be reborn, fakely, of course. But let's show you an example how this works as far as compressing numbers. When we found these numbers from this new cipher that is made on iPad Goat, and I've deciphered it. Okay, so 1 plus 5 plus 7 is 13. 1 plus 5 plus 7 is 13. Then we bring this 13 up, so we have 13 and 13. See where I'm going with this? 1 plus 3 is 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. So that even proves this is 44. Got more for you to prove that this is what I'm saying, and this is also Q. I am Q. Boom, right there. Okay, let's keep going. So 1 plus 5, again, 1 plus 5 plus 7 is 13. Then we have another way of doing this. We have 1 plus 3 right here. See, we could just bring that 13 again, but we'd be doing the exact same thing. 1 plus 3 is 4, and we do it that way. It's just the way you do it. Just the way you compress numbers, the order, the way, what you do before you do something else. So that, another way of looking at that is 1, and then 3 plus 4 is 7. So that's another way of showing he is 17, or Q. Okay, he's Q. And that's all in these numbers right here. LTN with that cipher I showed you, with the uppercase being starting at the bottom and going the opposite direction up, and lowercase going this direction. All the lowercase stuff on the chalkboard or wherever in the classroom. Like right here, you can see right here. See this? EVOL, but the L is capital. That means something. I'm going to get into that right now. This is crazy. So notice how, like I said, she was on a pink chair. He's on a pink chair. So that's pink and purple. And he's got a purple tassel or an ultraviolet tassel. She's got pink lipstick and purple blouse or shirt or whatever. Okay, it's crazy. It's just showing you that. And then as I showed you in this image right here, his ultraviolet tassel, which has to do with him. See, he's graduating. He was the president. He's graduating. The tassel coming in front, which is ultraviolet, saying that he's going to have Lucifer, the light of Lucifer, which is represented by ultraviolet light as far as in the physical realm. You know, ultraviolet, the light of Lucifer, go into him, and he's going to be the Antichrist, okay? And it's even pointing to him being the dragon. So this tassel is pointing to the truth. There's a dragon below this chalkboard right here. His tassel is pointing that he's the dragon that's going to eat this child. And his hands were a cracked egg, and he was eating out of the cracked egg, trying to eat the child. And then they turn into praying hands, because the child inside is a Christian, is a praying Christian, a child. He's trying to eat us. I'm one of those I'm one of the man-child that's going to go into heaven. The faithful in Christ are about to leave. You could be one of them that's on my channel here. Hopefully you are one of them. And you're going to be leaving, because he's going to be trying to eat you as soon as the devil's cast down into him and try to grab you. But we're going to be taken out before he can be. And at the same time, he's born, we're born. It's the yin and yang. It's all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. Okay, so another thing I want to show you is that, and I've shared some of this before, but okay, notice this right here. Remember, he is ultraviolet. In many ways, he's shown on his figure next to Lily. There's ultraviolet on him. I've shown in many ways he's ultraviolet. So many things. His favorite tie I've shown many times is an ultraviolet tie. It's so much stuff. But right here, the outline of this M. See, this is like a blue. Even like those characters that are behind Lily, this is like a blue outline. But this M is ultraviolet outlined, and this Q is ultraviolet outlined. So M is 13. 13th letter. 1 plus 3 is 4. Q is 17 or 17. 1 plus 7 is 8. Remember? You notice that's something upside down there? Yeah, he's Mr. 84. I told you that earlier. He was supposedly born on August 4th, or 8-4. And 8-4 is the 216th day of the year normally. And 216 is 6 times 6 times 6. So this proves I am Q is pointing to him. M is surrounded by ultraviolet, bordered by ultraviolet, and Q is 4-8, upside down. It's 84. He's 84. And then 84 day of the year is 216. 216 is 6 times 6 times 6. Another example that he is 666. He's 84. He is her. I'm telling you. Believe it or not, I'm showing you all kinds of ways where he is her, and it's showing that he is Q. Okay. That's right. All right, and then I showed it earlier in my last video. If you haven't watched that, please watch that. I'm having a link in the description box. But this is a phenomenal understanding the Lord gave me. I could not believe it. We were talking about George Floyd and this fake death of him. It was all staged and everything. In fact, my friend Jeremy said that there's a lot of Masonic stuff he could see, and the language that they were speaking, he speaks. They were seeing so many things. He was seeing so many things in that thing of those 4 cops, and then George Floyd, and the knee on the neck. I mean, all this different stuff that they were showing. They were kneeling, and that was all part of it too, just like the kneeling I was showing you earlier. In a sense, they were kneeling. There's so many things going on. And then, of course, that, I can't breathe thing that he said, and that's on people that were protesting masks, because you can't breathe when you put the mask on. And I did a little video about that. It's insane. It's all this predictive programming, things shown ahead of time, and even hinting at things secretly, and they're laughing at you. If you don't get this, they're laughing at you. I guarantee it. Demons and people in this whole club, they're laughing at you. They're not laughing at me. They don't want me around. They don't want me to keep saying this. That's why they shadow ban the heck out of my channel, and YouTube messes with me every single day. and deletes things and adds things, and oh man, it's just crazy. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's what it is. I mean, I'm expecting that because I'm part of the resistance. Okay, so but George Floyd is George Flood. I shared that in my last video. Lord showed me very clearly George Floyd is George Flood. They love to mess with the English language. They love the same words that sound the same. They love same looking things like I, looks like one, looks like small L, things like that. I mean, depends on what font and all that stuff, but it's just, they do this all the time. They mess with people. And this is one of their codes. George Floyd is George Flood. And I was saying about how it maybe in a couple days, we're looking at on the 19th, the first day, which I could say it could be a flood. We could be looking at Hoover Dam. We could be looking at, oh man, we could be looking at, I'm predicting Three Gorges Dam in China will break because it's a gorge flood. Three Gorge Dam is Three Gorge Flood. And I've shown how Three Gorge Dam is all these things in gematria, and that's on my last video, so watch that. Get into all that. But the difference between George Floyd and George Flood is E, and E is 5. That's the difference. You can see there, the difference right there. And then Y instead of O is 25. 525 is when he was killed, supposedly. Are you kidding me? This is big, people. If you haven't seen this yet, you should be stunned, because I was super stunned when the Lord showed me this. I could not even believe it. I was reeling for days. And now I'm looking at this, I'm just like, I can't even believe he just showed me this. How this matches. It's crazy. It's showing the time. I got more to add to this. The reason why I'm sharing this again, I'm at more to add that will probably blow you away if you've seen this already. If you haven't watched the last video, but I'm pretty much going to show you what I've shown in the last video on this section here. But here we go. So 5, and then 2 plus 5 is 7. And again, 57. Obama, like I said, Obama's Mr. 57. And I've shown it many times. And that's the 7th day, or the 5th day of the lease, the 7th day, which is really now 725. But 725 is 525 because it's depending on what month you're talking about. Okay, so 57. Again, 57 is his number, right? But also, Floyd was killed as he was a black man in a sense. Barack Obama in a sense, not really, but he's in a sense a black man. So a black man dying, forecasting his death, and then he's going to be falsely raised again. And people were outraged. People are going to be like, what? Obama's dead, whatever. Kind of like worldwide effect. Not necessarily outraged, but just, or maybe some people will be outraged depending on how it looks like he died or whatever, or it comes across like he died. But I'm saying that whether it's this July 25th or some other date, I don't know yet. That's what I'm guessing right now. That's what I'm guessing is going to be July 25th is when this is going to happen. So, and 5 plus 7 is 12. Backwards is 21, and I'm saying it's 201. And 201 is the 201st day of the year, or an event 201 is 719. Now I'm going to add more to this to prove this. This is crazy. Now remember, so I said 201 is 719. Okay, and some people might go, okay, I maybe see the George Floyd, that's kind of crazy, but give me a break. 57, 221, 201. 719, that's kind of a stretch. Really? Why? There's no reason why I've done that, but I'm going to add another huge reason why. Because check this out. Remember, George Floyd was where this happened? This happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in a Jewish gematria. That equals 719. The exact day I'm saying. See, 719 there. Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's impossible. That is off the charts impossible. In fact, what's the chance that one of the officers that restrained him or had to do with killing him, and that's on charges, I guess, technically, even though it's all fake, has something to do with that date? Well, there is a huge chance, and this guy named J. Alexander Koenig, whatever how you say it, was one of the officers, and his name in Aleister Crowley cipher is 201. And that's the actual exact day of the year. That is July 19th. It just keeps going and going and going and going. And these massive coincidences, I don't think so. So let me keep going. Then I've been looking at, there's a lot of different subjects I've been looking at with this time frame and everything. And one right now is right now, or pretty much around this time frame coming up, is the Apollo moon landings and all that stuff. Apollo 11 and all this stuff, right? Give me a break. I mean, hopefully you don't still believe we went on the moon, because it was just the biggest farce ever. There's so much evidence that actually didn't happen, and this is all a stunt by Stanley Kubrick and the president and all this stuff. I mean, it's a massive, ridiculous thing that is easily proven. They filmed it on top of Mauna Loa. I mean, that's all crazy. I mean, seriously, because it's a weird surface and it looks just like the moon. And then they had to block out where you couldn't see the stars. I mean, there's so much going on with this. Anyway, but look at these guys. Look at this guy sticking out his tongue. And this guy doing the 666 sign. This is when they came back from supposedly being on the moon, right? And then they splashed down. Guess where they splashed down at? Hawaii. And then I'm saying Hawaii is the cap of the abyss. This happens to do with Apollo, as in Apollyon, the Lord of the Abyss. Are you kidding? This is too much. You can't make this stuff up. This is just crazy. But look at this. Look at that. See that? That's the 666 sign that he's doing. That's Neil Armstrong doing the 666 sign. Okay, that is what that is. Not I'm A-OK. That's not, no, it's the Mason 666 sign that he does all the time, that Trumple Thinskin does all the time, and that is 666, baby. Does all kinds. He does the the Illuminati triangle thing, or he thinks he's the tip of the spear, and the Illuminati triangle. Every time he sits down, I showed you an iPad goat, and almost every time he sits down in public, he's sitting down. When you can see him, when he's not behind a desk or something, he's got the triangle hands thing. He's the tip of the spear. That's all Illuminati hand signaling. It's crazy, okay? Or he's a Knights Templar hand signals, whatever you want to say. But look at that. It's crazy. Now look at this. Apollo in simple gematria is 71. What a surprise. July 1st, which is really July 19th. So that's the code, July 1st. Apollo is also 31. Remember? Because 3-1 is 5-1 and 7-1. It's all different things are the same thing. Apollo is also 91 in reverse. And 91 is backwards of 19. Because again, 7-1 is 7-19. Apollo is also 201, if you can believe it. I mean, this is crazy. This proves that this is the 19th, which is coming off this. The 201st day of the year is July 19th, as I've shown you many times. I mean, event 201, and that's Apollo, the Lord of the bottomless pit. Are you freaking kidding me? And Obama's from Hawaii. I mean, the beast that comes out of the sea. He is the beast that comes out of the sea. He came from the sea. I mean, as far as, that's the story anyway. I mean, he's a clone. Who knows where he actually came from. He definitely came from a test tube and everything else, and that's provable. He literally, I've shown how he looks just like Akhenaten. Just like Akhenaten. He's a spitting image of Akhenaten, the Egyptian pharaoh. I mean, are you kidding me? And then when he was president, the Triple Crown winner of horse races was American Pharaoh. I can't make this stuff up. I mean, seriously, that's one of my 479. American Pharaoh. Are you kidding me? Then, I mean, what about the scientists that came up with this spiral-looking fossil, and they wanted to honor Obama, called it Obamus coronatus, and Obamus coronatus means Obama crowned. And he's not a king. He's not an American pharaoh. He's just a guy, or he's just a president and all this stuff. He's not the Antichrist. Give me a break. I have so much evidence. It's off the charts. Nobody comes close. I'm telling you, not one person comes close to him. And then, look, remember on 5/19, May 19th, was the Sanford Dam and Edenville Dam break. The twin dams broke. And that adds up to exactly Sanford Dam, Edenville Dam, 201, 93, going from 9 to 3, or flight 93, or whatever. I've shared this many times. 102, which is backwards 201. 96, 9 plus 6 is 15, backwards is 5-1, which is really 7-1 and 3-1. See, this proves this too. But this is pointing to this as well. So, and the day this happened was backwards is 5/19 right here. See that right underneath this ball? 5 and then spelled 19. These broke on 5/19 in Jewish ordinal. These two names together are 5 backwards and 19. Are you kidding me? And then you can throw away this 9 in a sense. 1 plus 4 is 5 and 5-1 again. And then again we have 5-1 equals 3-1 equals 7-1. And I'm just showing you, so all these things are pointing to this time frame in the same codes. It's crazy. And they're pointing to this as well. So even the Edenville and Sanford Dams break are pointing to this. This is the Hoover Dam. And just down the thing a piece a little bit is Las Vegas, and this is so crazy how this has all come up recently. But let me talk about this. Okay, so we have in the San Andreas movie, ultimately the big event was because of a 9.6, but it started with a 7.1. July 1st, which I'm saying is July 19th. I mean, are you kidding me? July 7-1, which is 1-7 backwards, which is Q, which who he is, everything. Are you kidding me? And then the next one, which is there was a big, huge quake that was in the movie. Again, this is all fictitious. This was in this movie called San Andreas. The first one is what broke this dam. So I'm saying that's 7-1. That is the birthday, the 7th month, the first day. And the breaking of a dam, there's a chance that this could break. I mean, there's a huge chance it could break. It might not happen. It could be just another code in this time frame or something. And ultimately, it's pointing to this time frame. It just happens to be 7-1, but it could possibly be the day. I don't know. We'll see. But in that movie, it breaks, and this guy was stuck when it's breaking. His friend falls. The whole thing breaks, and he's falling with it and everything. He saves this girl and everything. It's crazy, but that was a 7.1 that happened and broke that dam, and it just happens to be that. This is nuts. And then Nevada, first letter code of Nevada, first letter is N. N is 14th letter of the alphabet. 1 plus 4 is 5. Last letter code is A. A equals 1. I've done first and last letter code with one word and several words. So that's 5-1. This 5-1, which is 7-1, because Nevada is also a coded thing too. It looks like it's crazy. And then check this out. From the making of this dam, supposedly, 96 workers lost their lives. Do you see something here? 9.6 magnitude. See that? 96, 9.6. There's so much. I just showed you how that gematria of the Sanford Dam and Edenville Dam, one of them was 96, because 9 plus 6 is 15. Backwards is 5-1, which is 7-1, which is 7-19, which is 5-19. That's crazy. Keep going. San Andreas, the name itself is 96. This will blow your mind. 96, 9.6. San Andreas is also 91, 9.1 magnitude in the movie. And then San Andreas is also 51, 5-1, 5-1. Are you kidding me? And that's to do with the Hoover Dam. And that's 96 workers, which is 51 backwards. In Nevada, which is 5-1. It's just impossible with all these numbers to be this. It is. And then recently, it was yesterday actually, the White House suggests, because they're saying now that Nevada or Las Vegas and stuff is a hot zone, a red zone or whatever for the viral epidemic or whatever. That's a complete hoax. They suggest closing all gyms, limiting gatherings to 10 or fewer in Clark County. And it was so trippy. When I saw this, I was working all this stuff about Hoover Dam, and I was seeing Clark County all over the place, because Hoover Dam is in Clark County. It's half in it's like, I forget what it is. It's in Arizona, which is partly in Arizona, which is like Mesa County or some Indian name or something. I can't remember. And then the other part of it is in Clark County, which is in Nevada. I was seeing Clark County all in the past few days, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, out of any place in the whole world, they were talking about the administration, the White House was talking about Clark County. I was just looking at it for days. I was like, what? I mean, I couldn't be more on this than... Anyway, and then, so Clark County, and then they were talking about they were talking about, specifically they said, so here it says closing all gyms, but they said gyms and bars. Ah, shoot. I cut off the little thing, but that's all right. You can still see it. Gyms and bars is 123. And so 123, backwards is 5, or 3 plus 2 is 5 and 1. And they literally said, right here they said bars, they say they're closing all gyms, but in the article they said gyms and bars. So they're saying, I mean, there's other things you can close too, isn't there? Restaurants and other gathering places, and maybe, they've been talking about churches and stuff, but they're putting out the gematria of gyms and bars because it's 5-1. It's crazy. It's also 33. Check this out. So 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 is 33. What else is 33? What could be 33? Could it be Satan? No. Okay, could it be? It is actually, but it's Clark County. CC, first letter code. Again, I've used the first letter code to all the way to a degree of deciphering the REM song, It's the End of the World as We Know It. I feel fine. That whole phrase, first letter code, is also so take every first letter, and that's an anagram for because in the song it's talking about rapture ready, right. Anyway, it's talking about rapture, and so the code has to do with that, and the code literally says, and we gotta watch that video of mine. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it. Lord showed me this. All the first letter code ends up being in an anagram. Take off at World War III. If you can believe it. It's phenomenal. I couldn't believe it. So anyway, first letter code and last letter code are massive. They're all over. Especially when you have the first letter is the same letter. It's very obvious. It sticks out. Now look at last letter code for Clark County. Woo! K is 11. Y is 25. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7-11 and 30. 7-11 and 33 are really the same day because 33 is really 3 times 11. And 311 is 511 is 711. Like I've said, they're just different ways of looking at the same day. And so they have all these possible codes that mean all these same things, but ultimately they mean the same day, which is 511. To them, it's the 5th month, the 11th day on their Roman calendar, which is July 11th. And then it looks like there might even be this added hiddenness of it where you have to compress numbers to get to the 11. So 2 plus 9 is 11. So it would be July 29th being 7-11. And then we have first letter code of Las Vegas, which is just like the viral epidemic name, which is 322. So CV is the same numbers as LV, because L is 12, 1 plus 2 is 3, and C is 3. So that's 322, Skull and Bones. 322 is 522, which is also 722. I'm showing you iPad Goat. 722 is shown at the first and going backwards to 311. And there's 311. Look at this. We got 322, 311, 711. And then last letter code on Las Vegas is 1 and 1 because 19. And it can also be 19. 19 is important too. It could be 319, 519, and 719. So this could be 19 or just 1. 1 plus 9 is 10. Take away the 0 is 1. And we also have 311 this way. We have 1122. It's crazy how they do this stuff. Anyway. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about right here. Give me 1 second here. Okay, we're good. I got a couple minutes here to explain this real quick. Last thing I want to get into, and I didn't think it was going to take quite this long, but such is life. I had a lot of things to cover. So Jeremy, he's not here today. He basically, I started talking to him, and I was talking to him for several days. So this last week's really almost this whole last week. And he's just a wonderful guy. We prayed together. He loves Jesus so much. Can't wait to go with Jesus and stuff. And it's amazing. He's just amazing. But he wants to do as much as he can here to expose the evil that he knows and he has firsthand knowledge about and everything. In fact, it's crazy. So the day after we were talking, I think was we were talking, I think the 10th, 11th. Okay, so we were talking a lot on the 11th, and then the 12th, the morning of the 12th, he emailed me an email from his mother. Now, I'm just going to get some general. He has my permission to do this. I've asked him already. But so what's going on is he got this email, and then he had to head out from a place in town where he's at to out of town to what they have a name for it. It starts with a G, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. But they have a general name for it called the Plantation, which is great. I mean, that sounds so racist to me. I can't even say, but maybe that's just a general term. But to me, from all I know about the South and everything, that sounds so racist. It's crazy. But I mean, he hates that whole thing. In fact, he never was racist. He said he never was ever like that. He just never understood it. It wasn't like that with his friends and stuff, and he had different friends and stuff. And it was just not like that when he was around. But then people in the Masonic stuff, they started really coming out saying that and believing some of that stuff, and he was never like that. And it might have something to do with why he just saw the light and everything, but he never saw it that way. But there's a lot of hidden corners of places, and these guys, the Masons, that are very racist, and they want to, kill a lot of colored people and stuff. It's just crazy. And he's like, this is so insane. I can't believe that this is a big deal for them. Because it wasn't like that when he grew up, where he was growing up and everything. It wasn't like that as far as he knew, his experience and everything. So, but when we started talking, he said, Aaron, I want to talk to you about this. This is huge. So you might be right about July. Now, I didn't share the second half of the interview in my last video about July because he was talking about July. Now, he said that family members had went to Denver to figure out how, they were going to get a condo and stuff. But then he had mentioned, he knew that they had talked about getting into bunkers at some point because of those things that were coming way before that. And so when they said, a condo in Denver, he knew they meant like a condo underground, and he was sure it had something to do with DIA or something. In fact, I almost did an interview with a guy that I drove for a while, and he was a contractor. He was injured contractor for DIA, and he told me things that are phenomenal. I haven't really talked about too much, but he didn't want me to talk about it, but he said you could say a couple general things if you wanted to, and I really didn't say. I stayed away from it, but he had seen several things. He was definitely 4 levels down from DIA, and he said there's these massive steel doors. And he one day he was on break. Him and some other guys were eating and stuff. And they were watching this massive armored car / semi, armored vehicle that size of a semi, and it was unloading these gold bars into these steel doored massive storage areas. And then he said that he had a friend that worked there as well, and he basically went through another set of doors that he knew they were there, and they were like the doors were like 20 by 20 each of them or something like that. And there's 2 doors that were 20 by, and then there were these, he said he went from that area to Colorado Springs underground. And then I know a lot about that. I've seen all these underground highways connecting these different DUMBs, the deep underground military bases and things like that. And then he confirmed a lot of things. He told me some other things, which I'm not going to get into right now. But anyway, so Jeremy knew that was going to happen. So he knew his family, who love where they're at. I mean, he's talking. They have several properties and stuff, and they own their home. I mean, they rent out a lot of properties and all kinds of stuff. They have money, a lot of money, and they're massively well-to-do and famous family. I'm not going to even get into any of that at all for his anonymity and everything, and any of that details. I'm just calling him Jeremy and all that stuff. But this is the real deal. I'm telling you. I know it is. It's really bizarre, but it's real, and it's hard to believe this is falling right into my lap. But I wanted to share some of this with you. So they went out and months ago. They went out, and a lot of his family. Some of them stayed there, never came back. Some came back, and they were just setting it up, and they came back. And then his most closest family, his mother, who is actually a high up judge. That's the best I'm going to say. I'm not going to get into any details of what kind of judge. She's a high up judge, and she's a member of the Order of the Eastern Star, which is another Masonic temple that or it's Masonic lodge or whatever you call that. It's temple lodge. I don't know. I think it's a lodge and whatever. And she cares about him though, and he's out of it. A lot of family consider him traitors and stuff, and there's a few family that they don't give him a hard time too much, and his mother loves him still, and so she tells him a few things, but then she really just makes sure he's okay, especially with what's coming. So she basically said that, he told me the first day we were talking, he said, my family left, and they're not come back. They left the 9th. And this was on the 11th, he told me this. They left July 9th. And I said, wait a minute, I mean, you know them pretty well. And he goes, yeah, I know them. You know my family very well. And he has a big family, and they're all over, and they're very prestigious and everything. And he said that they would not leave so soon if it wasn't important, if it wasn't required. So, and I made that clear. I'm like, would they leave? I mean, if this was some of this big stuff was going to happen in August or September, whatever, would they have left July 9th? He's like, no, they wouldn't have. No, they must have had to leave. Okay, so then he told me that, and I was like, wow, and I'm going to have to get this together. And so then the next day, early in the morning, I woke up to an email from him. And he said he forwarded to me his email from his mother, part of it. He couldn't include all of it. But he said that the particular place that's in the mountains, I won't even say what mountains or anything like that, particular place, a lot of family calls it a plantation, but they have a name for it. It starts with a G. I'm not going to get into all that either, but just so I can kind of mentally separate the stuff. But he said that his mother sent him this email, and that's where she's saying he needs to go to get out of the city, get in the mountains to this plantation place, this property. And so I'm going to read what he forwarded to me. He says, okay, we are here safe. She's talking about being in Denver, and they're in their bunker and everything, I guess. We are here safe and have everything we need and had to buy more than we thought at first. Please make sure by the end of the week you are not in town. And so this was on the 12th. Again, we were talking the 11th, and he told me about the 9th, and then the next morning was the 12th, and she had sent this on the 12th. And then, so the end of the week was a Sunday. It was the next Sunday, which is the 19th, which is the day I'm talking about, which is, listen, I'm not saying all this stuff is definitely going to happen on this time. I never have. And I'm guessing, but I'm saying it's very possible. And I'm just asking you to consider it, and whatever you need to do to prepare with the Lord, with food, water, whatever you're doing, just keep that in mind. That's always been the heart of my channel. I'm just showing you as much information as I can, and do with it what you will. Hopefully you make right decisions, and if it was me, I mean, I'm where I need to be when all this stuff goes down. If you need to be somewhere else when this all goes down, or you don't have enough food, you don't have enough toilet paper, I mean, whatever, get it all. And if you're not close enough to Jesus, get close right now. You should have did it a long time ago, but do it now. I mean, seriously, because time is running short. So please make sure by the end of the week that you are, this is her talking, not in town, and we are at the blank. I'm just going to call it the plantation. Lock the gate and make sure in advance that M and G, those are a couple of his cousins apparently that are, he said he's got a huge family, a lot of cousins, a lot of stuff like that. And they're apparently Christian. They're the only Christian ones or something. The rest of them are all Masons, I guess. And so they're both there to help you in an event you need them, and have plenty of ammunition. I know those firearms are old, but if they are still in working order, have more ammunition. You have more ammunition than you think you'll ever need. As you are only going to be able to purchase these things for so long in the following weeks. Remember what I told you about staying in town. Be prepared to take everything with you on one trip to the plantation. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So, and this may go farther, but I'm saying it's very possible that the fact that they left the 9th, and he was originally even saying in that first interview, A Minute to Midnight, that they were talking about July is when they were going to be leaving, and they've already left on July 9th, and he says, be in the place by the end of the week and have guns ready. I mean, are you kidding me? By the 19th? And so anyway, I want to make that really clear to anybody who needs to know this. Just some intel, and you, again, take it however you want. I mean, I'm sure it's quality and everything, but if you don't, if you're like, whatever, but in the if it just gives you even more incentive to do what you should have already done, do that, okay? And that's my motivation to all of you, just, do what you need to do. This stuff's about to crumble, whether it's this month or the next month or the next month, whatever, but we're so close, it's ridiculous, and all these lockdowns are coming again, bigger and stronger, and this month, and it's starting from basically nothing all the way it's coming up. And I just had, again, the governor say, mask mandate for my state. I mean, this stuff's going fast this month. I mean, from nothing virtually, at least where I'm at, to it just escalating. I've heard a lot of places, like California, they're shutting down restaurants and bars and all this stuff. That was a few days ago. I mean, World War III is amping up between China and United States in the Pacific. It's just going crazy. This could be the powder keg that happens here in this next week. So just keep that in mind. And as I start seeing things happen, I'll start reporting on it. And if you can give me anything you see, put those in the comments box of this video till I get a more recent video, but the most current video, put comments in about the updates or anything you see. I'd appreciate it. The ones that are watching with me and everything. Anything more that has to do with what I'm talking about, the time frames, these dates, the possible events, all that stuff. So thanks so much for your help. I just thank you so much for watching my videos and getting these out to more people. Share my videos, and so much for prayer. And all of you that gave to me last video, I asked for support, financially. I really appreciate it. I need more for anybody else that can. I mean, I have to pay I'm going to do a cell phone bill tomorrow. I'd have no money, basically. Eventually I'm going to need more food for kids and family and all that stuff. God always provides. He just does. And he brings the right things. Even when I had a job or things were tight or this thing happened or this thing blew up or whatever, he just brought something else, and he just always does it. And many times I've been homeless a few times, but even with family and stuff. And it's been really, Lord's really taught me faith and patience and waiting on him. So I just ask if you're able to give. First of all, I want to just thank just wholeheartedly. You gave to me, and I couldn't thank you yet. I usually get out emails to people. It's been a very tough week, very draining week. A lot of stuff with my twins, a lot of stuff going on with everything else, and I couldn't get emails out to everybody. I just could not. So, but the ones who did help financially from my last video, it helped me pay my rent. And I just wanted to get that to my landlord. I mean, we could just go without it, but I don't want to stick them with that. I mean, and we have food, we have survival food and everything for a certain amount of time. But when you're talking about just regular food for babies and family and all that stuff, you have to buy groceries every week. So, I mean, anyway, just to clarify for people, if you're able to give, I really need it right now. I appreciate it at the bottom of our hearts. My family really appreciates it. The 6 of us, and we could use it right now. So thank you so much. And we have a PayPal description in the PayPal link in the description box. And then also, just for anybody who wants to send anything, this is the first time I'm going to do this. I usually shy away from this because it's a personal P.O. box, but I have a P.O. box as well on there. So if you want to send something as well, normally I don't do that, but I'm just going to do it this time if the Lord said it's okay. So, but usually for safety reasons and different things and all that, I just stayed away from that. But I'm gonna put that there as well. So I appreciate everything, and just be safe, and be the safest place that you could ever be is with Jesus. Even more than having enough food or water, because He provides no matter what. So, but I just pray that you're safe, and and whatever comes, that you're prepared as best you can. And God be with you, Godspeed, and God bless. So this is Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.